Hello English learners, welcome to our English learning channel Learn English Easily Through Stories. I am your host Robert. A father gave his two sons the same challenge. Weeks later, one was thriving and one had nothing. But the real twist? The one with nothing was actually winning. Once upon a time, nestled between rolling green hills, there was a quiet little village where a wise farmer named Samuel lived with his twin sons, Leo and Eli. Both boys were 12 years old, full of energy, and always eager to help their father tend the land. One warm spring morning, Samuel gathered his sons under the old oak tree in their backyard. He opened his palm slowly, revealing two tiny seeds. "Each of you will receive one seed," he said, his eyes kind and steady. "Plant it, nurture it, and trust what happens next." Leo grabbed his seed with excitement, turning it over in his fingers. "What will it become, Father?" "Something wonderful," Samuel said simply. "But only if you let it." Eli took his seed gently and pressed it to his chest. "I won't let you down, Father." The very next morning, both boys prepared small garden beds side by side. They loosened the earth, pressed their seeds carefully into the soil, and watered them with equal care. Then the waiting began. Leo watered his patch every single day without fail. But as the days stretched into a week, his eyes searched the soil anxiously, and found nothing. No green. No movement. Just dark, silent earth. By the second week, worry turned into doubt. "What if mine is broken?" he thought. "What if I was given the wrong seed?" He began sneaking glances at Eli's garden plot, looking for any sign of difference. He even poked at the soil with a stick, just to make sure his seed was still there. Eli, meanwhile, watered his seed every morning without fuss. He didn't dig. He didn't question. He simply showed up, did his part, and walked away. On the 22nd day, Eli let out a joyful shout. "Leo! Father! Come and look!" There, pushing through Eli's dark soil, was a delicate green sprout, curled and small, but very much alive. Leo stared at it. Something heavy settled in his chest. "Why not mine?" Samuel placed a steady hand on Leo's shoulder. "Keep going, son." "But nothing is happening," Leo said quietly. "Nothing you can see," his father replied. The weeks rolled on. Eli's plant climbed steadily upward, leafing out with a quiet confidence. It was modest and graceful, growing exactly as it was meant to. Leo's plot stayed bare. He still watered it, but less faithfully now. Some mornings he stood over it feeling foolish. He started to wonder whether he was wasting his time. Then, on an unremarkable Tuesday morning, nearly 2 full months after he had first pressed that tiny seed into the ground, Leo walked out of habit to his garden plot, barely even looking down. And stopped. A small, bold shoot had burst through the surface. Green and strong, it stood there as if it had been waiting to surprise him all along. Leo's mouth fell open. He dropped to his knees. "Father," he whispered. Then louder, "Father! Eli! Come quickly!" What happened next astonished them all. Where Eli's plant had grown steadily and gracefully over months, Leo's plant seemed to explode upward. Within a matter of weeks it had matched Eli's height. Then surpassed it. The stem thickened. The leaves spread wide and dark. It reached toward the sky with an almost impatient energy, as though all that quiet underground work had been storing up for exactly this moment. When the fruit finally came, both boys stood speechless. Eli's plant offered small, rosy fruits, sweet and lovely. Leo's plant hung heavy with large, golden mangoes, glowing like lanterns in the afternoon light. That evening, the three of them sat together at the edge of the garden. Fireflies blinked in the tall grass. "Father," Leo said at last, "why did mine take so long, but then grow so much bigger?" Samuel looked at both his sons with quiet pride. "Because I gave you two very different seeds," he said. "Eli received a seed that grows quickly and bears fruit early. Leo, yours needed far more time underground, building roots deep enough to hold something great." He let the words settle in the warm evening air. "The first lesson," he continued, "is to stop measuring your path against someone else's. You two were never in the same race. You were growing different things entirely." When Leo looked at Eli's sprout and felt behind, he was never behind. He was simply elsewhere on his own journey. Eli nodded slowly, understanding now that his earlier growth wasn't superiority, it was simply a different kind of story. "The second lesson," Samuel went on, "is that the most important work is often invisible. Leo, your seed was not sleeping. It was building. Deep beneath the surface, where no eyes could see, it was preparing itself for the size it was always meant to become. Progress doesn't always look like progress." Leo thought about all the mornings he had stood over bare ground, feeling like a failure. "And the third lesson," his father finished gently, "is that consistency is the bridge between planting and harvest. You showed up, Leo, even when you didn't believe. That mattered more than you know. Had you stopped, all that quiet underground work would have come to nothing." The boys sat with their father until the stars came out. Before they went inside, Samuel looked at them both and said, "Don't compare your beginning to someone else's middle. Don't judge your roots by what you can see above the soil. Keep showing up. Keep trusting the process. And remember, the things worth having almost always take longer than we expect." Leo and Eli carried those 3 lessons with them for the rest of their lives. And every spring, without fail, they both returned to that little garden, to plant, to wait, and to trust. Some seeds sprout in days. Others take seasons. Both are exactly right.